Today our topic is the link between Stoicism and minimalism. Life is full of challenges, and sometimes it feels like we are drowning in a sea of responsibilities, desires, and distractions. But what if I told you that two ancient ideas, Stoicism and minimalism, can help us navigate this sea with calm and clarity? Stoicism is a philosophy that teaches us how to focus on what we can control and let go of what we cannot. Minimalism is a lifestyle that encourages us to keep only what adds value to our lives and remove the rest. Together, these two ideas can help us live a simpler, more meaningful life. Let's explore how they are connected and how they can guide us toward a better way of living. First, let's talk about Stoicism. This philosophy was developed over 2,000 years ago in ancient Greece and Rome. Stoics like Epictetus, Seneca, and Marcus Aurelius believed that happiness comes from within, not from external things like money, fame, or possessions. They taught that we should focus on our own thoughts, actions, and attitudes, because these are the only things we truly control. Everything else, what happens to us, what other people do, and even the past and future, is beyond our control. The Stoics believe that trying to control the uncontrollable only leads to frustration and unhappiness. Instead, they encouraged us to accept what we cannot change and to use our energy wisely on what we can change. Now, let's look at minimalism. Minimalism is about simplifying our lives by removing the unnecessary. It's not just about having fewer possessions, although that's part of it. It's also about clearing out distractions, commitments, and habits that don't add value to our lives. A minimalist tries to focus on what truly matters: relationships, experiences, and personal growth. By reducing clutter, both physical and mental, minimalists create space for what is important. They believe that less is more, and that by owning less, we can live more. At first glance, Stoicism and minimalism might seem like two different ideas. But when we look closer, we see that they share many similarities. Both teach us to focus on what is essential and let go of what is not. Both encourage us to live intentionally, with purpose and clarity. And both remind us that true happiness comes from within, not from external things. Let's explore these connections in more detail. One of the key ideas in Stoicism is the distinction between what we can control and what we cannot. The Stoics called this the dichotomy of control. They believe that much of our suffering comes from trying to control things that are beyond our power. For example, we might worry about what other people think of us, or we might stress over things that happened in the past. But the Stoics would say that these things are outside our control. Instead of wasting energy on them, we should focus on what we can control: our own thoughts, actions, and reactions. Minimalism also teaches us to focus on what we can control. By simplifying our lives, we reduce the number of things that can distract us or cause us stress. For example, if we have too many possessions, we might spend a lot of time and energy managing them. We might worry about losing them, or we might feel pressure to keep up with trends. But minimalism encourages us to let go of these things. By owning less, we free ourselves from these burdens. We create more time and space for what truly matters. Another connection between Stoicism and minimalism is the idea of living intentionally. The Stoics believed that we should live with purpose and awareness. They encouraged us to reflect on our actions and to make choices that align with our values. They taught us to be mindful of our thoughts and emotions, and to avoid being swept away by impulses or desires. This idea of mindfulness is also central to minimalism. Minimalists try to live with intention, making conscious decisions about what they bring into their lives. They ask themselves questions like, does this add value to my life? Or is this aligned with my goals and values? By doing this, they avoid the trap of mindless consumption and instead focus on what truly matters. Stoicism and minimalism also share a focus on inner contentment. The Stoics believe that true happiness comes from within, not from external things. They taught that we should cultivate virtues like wisdom, courage, and self-discipline, and that these qualities are the key to a good life. Minimalism also emphasizes inner contentment. By reducing our reliance on external things, we learn to find satisfaction in ourselves. We realize that we don't need a lot of possessions or achievements to be happy. Instead, we can find joy in simple things like spending time with loved ones, pursuing our passions, or simply being present in the moment. Another important connection between Stoicism and minimalism is the idea of letting go. The Stoics taught us to let go of things that are beyond our control. They reminded us that everything in life is temporary, and that clinging to things only leads to suffering. Minimalism also teaches us to let go of possessions, commitments, and habits that no longer serve us. By letting go of these things, we create space for what truly matters. We learn to live with less, and in doing so, we find greater freedom and peace. Stoicism and minimalism also encourage us to embrace challenges and discomfort. The Stoics believe that difficulties are an opportunity for growth. They taught us to face challenges with courage and resilience, and to see them as a chance to strengthen our character. Minimalism also involves facing discomfort. Letting go of possessions or simplifying our lives can be difficult, especially in a world that values material success. But minimalists believe that this discomfort is worth it, because it leads to a simpler, more meaningful life. Finally, both Stoicism and minimalism remind us of the importance of gratitude. The Stoics believe that we should appreciate what we have, rather than always wanting more. They taught us to focus on the present moment, and to find joy in the simple things. Minimalism also emphasizes gratitude. By reducing our possessions and simplifying our lives, we learn to appreciate what we have. We realize that we don't need a lot to be happy, and that true wealth comes from being content with what we already have. So, how can we apply these ideas in our own lives? Here are a few practical steps. First, practice the Stoic habit of focusing on what you can control. When you feel stressed or overwhelmed, take a moment to ask yourself, is this within my control? If it's not, try to let it go. Second, embrace minimalism by simplifying your life. Start by decluttering your home or workspace. Get rid of things you don't need or use. Then, extend this idea to other areas of your life, your schedule, your commitments, and even your digital life. Third, live intentionally. Take time to reflect on your values and goals, and make choices that align with them. Fourth, cultivate inner contentment. Focus on developing your character and finding joy in simple things. And finally, practice gratitude. Take time each day to appreciate what you have, and remind yourself that true happiness comes from within. In conclusion, Stoicism and minimalism are two powerful ideas that can help us live a simpler, more meaningful life. Both teach us to focus on what is essential, let go of what is not, and find happiness within ourselves. By combining these two philosophies, we can create a life of clarity, purpose, and peace. So, let's take a step back from the chaos of modern life and embrace the wisdom of the Stoics and the simplicity of minimalism. Let's focus on what truly matters and let go of the rest. In doing so, we can find true freedom and happiness.